Once upon a time in America, life moved slower. Mornings began not with the buzz of smartphones, but with the gentle whistle of a kettle. And the click of a toaster that looked more like a tiny chrome spaceship. Before modern technology filled our homes with screens and endless notifications. It was the humble gadgets, the hand-cranked, the wood-framed, the chrome-plated, that carried the heartbeat of American life. This is the story of those gadgets. The ones that built a nation of dreamers, homemakers, and tinkerers. The old American gadgets, that changed everything. At the turn of the century, America was electric, literally. Cities glowed with new power lines, and invention was in the air. In kitchens across the country, something magical began to happen. Electric irons replaced heavy cast iron ones that had to be heated on stoves. Fans buzzed gently on hot summer days, a miracle for families who once relied only on open windows and hope. The 1900s were a time of wonder. Every gadget felt like a glimpse into the future. The coffee percolator became a symbol of comfort. Mothers brewed the morning's warmth while fathers read newspapers about the Wright brothers and Ford's new, horseless carriage. The first vacuum cleaners appeared too, bulky, heavy, and loud. But they promised something revolutionary. A cleaner, more modern home. And then came the sewing machine, not new, but newly accessible. Women stitched not just fabric, but identity, creating dresses, curtains, and futures. These early gadgets didn't just make life easier. They made Americans believe that progress was always within reach. The Great Depression dimmed the lights of prosperity. But innovation never truly stopped. Even in hardship, Americans found hope in small wonders. The hand-cranked egg beater became a kitchen hero, simple, reliable, and built to last. Families who couldn't afford luxuries still took pride in gadgets that made ordinary moments feel special. Then came the 1940s, a time of war, rationing, and resilience. Factories that once built toasters began building tanks. But when soldiers returned home, a new era of comfort was waiting. The Sunbeam Mixmaster, sleek, elegant, and powerful, became a wedding gift across America. It wasn't just a machine, it was a symbol of domestic hope. Gadgets like these promised a brighter, easier tomorrow, a life of abundance after years of sacrifice. As radios filled the air with news and music, and as housewives listened to the guiding light while ironing clothes, America rediscovered its rhythm, one appliance at a time. If there was one decade that defined the American gadget dream, it was the 1950s. Post-war prosperity, suburban homes, and the rise of modern living turned gadgets into icons. Kitchens became laboratories of progress. Chrome toasters, pastel refrigerators, and shiny blenders. Each hum and whir symbolized America's faith in technology. The rotary telephone sat proudly on the wall, its dial clicking softly as families called relatives miles away. Hello wasn't just a greeting, it was a connection to the expanding world. The TV set, that glowing wooden box, transformed evenings. Families gathered around it, laughing at I Love Lucy, or watching the moon through the eyes of news anchors. For the first time, gadgets weren't just tools. They were family members, part of the American household. And in every shining chrome curve, you could see the reflection of an optimistic nation, dreaming of the future, one appliance at a time, as rock and roll filled the airwaves. Gadgets took on a new identity, they became personal, portable, and stylish. The transistor radio was freedom in your pocket. Teenagers carried it to beaches, diners, and drive-ins, tuning into Elvis and the Beatles while the world changed around them. The Polaroid camera captured smiles instantly. A miracle of chemistry and creativity that froze memories before your eyes. And then came the cassette player. Tiny magnetic ribbons that carried voices, songs, and secret confessions. For the first time, music wasn't just something you listened to. It was something you owned, carried, and shared. In the kitchen, color was everywhere, avocado green, harvest gold, and burnt orange. The microwave oven arrived too, turning cooking into a futuristic act that seemed like magic. Dinner in 5 minutes, unthinkable in the 50s, became a normal promise in the 70s. America was moving fast, and its gadgets kept up, smaller, smarter, and louder than ever. By the 1980s, gadgets were no longer just helpers, they were companions. The Walkman put an entire soundtrack in your pocket. Joggers, dreamers, and teenagers walked through city streets. With music that made every step cinematic. The personal computer arrived, beige, boxy, and revolutionary. Families gathered around glowing screens. Typing letters, playing pixelated games. And unknowingly stepping into the digital age. The cordless phone meant you could wander from the kitchen to the porch. Still talking, still connected. As if the world itself had become smaller. Gadgets no longer just helped Americans live. They began to define how Americans were living. The nation that once marveled at electric irons and egg beaters was now dreaming of digital futures. Of microchips, modems, and the mysterious thing called the internet. But behind every gadget, there was always a heartbeat. A mother's hand cranking the mixer for her family's first cake. A father fixing a broken radio on a quiet Sunday. A child pressing the red record button on a cassette player, whispering a secret to the future. These machines weren't just tools, they were witnesses. To laughter. To family dinners. To love stories that began with a phone call and ended with a photograph. And as the years turned, as technology grew faster and colder, those old gadgets remained warm in our memories. Symbols of a time when progress still felt human. Today, most of those gadgets gather dust in attics or sit behind glass in museums. But if you listen closely, you can still hear them hum. The rhythmic whir of a Mixmaster. The click of a typewriter key. The ding of a toaster announcing breakfast. They remind us that innovation isn't just about speed or power. It's about connection. The gadgets of old America tell the story of who we were. A people curious, creative, and endlessly hopeful. Every invention, no matter how small, carried the spirit of someone who believed in a better tomorrow. And maybe that's why they still fascinate us. Because even in this age of AI and automation, we still long for the simple magic of the past. When every gadget felt alive. And every home hummed with wonder, from the hand-cranked egg beater to the humming computer. America's gadgets tell a story of evolution, not just of machines, but of dreams. They were more than metal and wires. They were symbols of hope, progress, and imagination. And though the world has changed, those old American gadgets still whisper through time, reminding us that sometimes, the smallest inventions can shape the biggest stories.